link so I can tweet it out. We are now live. Welcome, everybody. This is our first live taping of Big Man, Big Heart. I'm going to get started here officially in a minute. So we're going to do this every week from here on out. And we're going to do video and audio. The audio will still go up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. But we will be doing this live. So give a minute to get people in here. I'm going to have Brendan send me the link.
Yeah, I'll also tweet it out there.
Right, I'll text it.
Get the people buzzing, you know?
Yeah, we'll try. We'll try. So yeah, this is episode 10. Which box do you like better? The full box or this one?
That one looks a little bit more I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like this is a FaceTime call. This
is
like
a little bit more official.
Call. Yeah. So you got to send me. We'll get this figured out for next week, but we'll put the Big Man, Big Heart logo behind here. It's real simple. But yeah.
For this week, do you want to do it just zoomed in then?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I think people know that this is the stream. I mean, shoot, I'm wearing the shirt. We'll give Knowles 24/7 a little shout out this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not hard. I'll get the Big Man logo next week. Put it in there.
Yeah, I can get you created a nice background.
Yeah. Oh man. So you got schoolwork tonight?
A little bit, nothing too crazy. After this podcast is done, we're gonna go over to pizza night and get that ball rolling.
Oh yeah, you guys still at Momo's?
Yeah, I'm hoping to instill a new tradition in the offensive line. I'm going to see how receptive the guys are to it. But at Notre Dame, every year around this time, we put all of our names in a hat and pick Secret Santa. It's a good tradition. It's not necessarily the huggy-feely type of Secret Santa you might be used to. Maybe one that you partake in your business or with your family. A little bit more raunchy. But at the end of the day, it's like a $20 price limit. Spend $20 on the guy you pick, and you get him a funny gift and you get him a legitimate gift, something from the heart. And I always had fun doing that at Notre Dame. Again, I love giving gifts, as you can probably tell.
Just sent you the link. I'm going to tweet it out right now, and then we'll get started. All right, there we go. Week's almost over. All right. Oh, wait. Why is this happening? Almost over. All right. Tweet it out.
You tweeted it?
Yeah.
I'll retweet that, Johnson.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Big Man, Big Heart with Dillan Gibbons. I am your host, Josh Newberg, and this is episode 10. We are coming to you on a Thursday evening. For those listening on iTunes or Spotify right now, we are also live on YouTube, or, well, it'll also be recorded so you can check it later. So if you want to watch and listen to Dylan and I do this podcast, you can go to YouTube and we will tweet that link out with the podcast each week. Florida State lost a tough game last week to NC State, 28-14, and now the team turns their attention to rival Miami coming up this weekend. But before we get into that, Dylan Gibbons, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and it's great to be here for another week on the podcast. Loving the new format, going live right now on Twitter and on YouTube, of course, great platform. But again, I'm excited to get this thing started and share a little bit from the insights from the last game and preparing forward to Miami.
Yeah, man, this is Big Man, Big Heart. And before we get into all that, I want to check in with what is going on with the foundation. I know there's been some more Big Man, Big Heart news this week.
Yep. So let's start off with sponsorships. Things have been going very well. I've had a few different companies and organizations reach out wanting to sponsor Big Man, Big Heart. One of which is National Truck Protection with CEO Wade Bontrager, a good friend I've made throughout the years. Just kind of reached out to me and wanted to be able to donate an intern to Big Man, Big Heart. So we're going to be able to roll with that with a paid intern. Again, That spot is open as of now. We're actively searching for an intern. We have one person signed up so far to be an intern this December.
What are some of the, I'm sure people out there listening or watching this might want to be an intern. There might be some students at FSU. What would an internship entail?
Basically just a general knowledge of business. Hopefully if you are in college studying business, marketing, finance, non-profit organization, things of that nature, a general interest in helping people, connecting with athletes such as myself and people just like me, big guys with big hearts. And at the end of the day, I need someone that's going to be there. I have a lot of small tasks that I complete throughout the day. I'm always going, always in this room, always in this office. But yeah, just somebody that can help me out and try to help me propel this thing into the next level. So far, we've raised about $120,000 over the past 4 months for people in need. And what I'm trying to do is double or triple that by the end of the year. And I believe it is very, 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 it's coming up, and I believe it is very doable. So far we have collegiate ambassadors signed up from FSU, at UCF, and soon there will be a few different ambassadors signed up from University of Florida, University of South Florida, and then University of Miami.
And you guys can go check it all out at bigmanbigheart.com. There's information on not only Dillan's foundation, but others. And then also this week, you launched a new campaign for Tyler Paul, who is the UCF ambassador. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So let me start it off from the top. Let me talk about Timothy, give the people an update on my boy. Timothy's doing pretty well. He's hanging in there. His pneumonia's died down a lot.
That's great.
He's been able to make it to a few different games this season. He's actually at the UNC game when you were there, the Clemson game, and then he's been to the Notre Dame game. And this weekend, he'll be here for the Miami game. So their family has had a lot going on. His mother, Paula, I've commented on her before. She's one of the strongest women I've ever met in my life. Been the sole, basically, caretaker of Timothy since he was a little baby. She was actually diagnosed with breast cancer a few weeks ago, which is an incredibly tough thing to go through. And I'm lucky enough that I haven't had anyone in my life that's been that close, that's had it before. But she does have a surgery date for December 9th, and is going to hopefully get that taken care of. It's not the best thing, but the family and Timothy and Tim are rallying around her. And I put out a tweet earlier this week kind of explaining the circumstances. And the FSU committee has been rallying around her. Awesome. So again, I'd appreciate any thoughts, any prayers. She's very active on Twitter and Instagram. So please just reach out to her. You can find her linked in all my pages. Again, a wonderful family. Definitely some trying times for them, but they're definitely holding in and holding strong. Another update. This is, I hate to go down this track, but talking about Liana Joy, Brady Scott, his initiative that he started for Liana. So I actually got to meet Liana when we were at Clemson. I got to meet the whole family, and we had a great conversation, but it did kind of have some somber news at the end. Her last round of chemotherapy was unsuccessful, and that's what they were banking on in order to get the stem cell and bone marrow transplant down in Orlando done. So without that round being successful, she's not allowed to go down there anymore. So they're trying some alternative forms of treatment back home and in Tennessee, actually, too. So what's going on right now is basically every treatment session she has is $8,500 out of the family's pocket, because it's different types of treatment that aren't necessarily covered by normal health benefits. So they're going through some tough times right now. I put up an update on my Twitter that includes a video that their family put together, kind of just showing Liana's process and what she's been through and what she's currently going through. So again, I really appreciate anybody to just read into her story. And again, just a 14-year-old girl that my buddy Brady Scott, one of our players here at FSU, just kind of ran into and made a wonderful organic relationship. And their family is also going through some tough times, so I'd appreciate any support you could possibly give in their direction. The reason why we got this up, so talking about Tyler Paul, right? So Tyler Paul and me went to high school together at Clearwater Central Catholic, down there in Clearwater. That was actually the last high school I went to. I had a wonderful experience there, and Tyler Paul was one of my really good friends. So I ended up reaching out to him about a month ago. I asked him who would he be looking for? Who has he been talking to? Does he have any ideas? Anyone he'd do an initiative for? And the first person he brought up was Britt. And if you haven't seen pictures of Britt or even heard videos or seen who she is or read some stories about her, you wouldn't understand. She is actually UCF's little sister. She's there at the team hotel before games. She's there afterwards. She's made personal relationships with guys I interact with on a daily basis, including Mackenzie Milton. She calls him Kenzie. That's her big brother. But it's absolutely amazing to see what she's done at UCF and how many players she's inspired to do good. All the activities that she's been a part of to raise money and spread awareness. But that was who Tyler Paul initially brought up. And from there, we ran with Jan, her mom, and Britt. And we ended up putting together a whole deal, basically. So for the UConn game coming up here in a couple weeks for UCF, Britt and Jan are going to bring a group of 16 individuals with different guardians, different people involved. So it should be closer to 25 or 30 people to the game. So Big Man, Big Heart sponsored tickets, different meals they're going to be eating throughout the day. One of those is actually going to be from a place called Burger U, which I've heard makes some delicious food over there at UCF. And then at the end of the day, they're actually going to go by the Barnes & Noble bookstore on UCF's campus, which I guess is their main bookstore, and be able to go in there and get one of those signature balls, one of those big footballs. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to get a player pack, which should include a sweatshirt, T-shirt, bag, and some other little accessories. Awesome. So we have the whole experience planned out for them. It's going to be really a great ordeal, and it's been a very successful initiative so far. I look forward to seeing them enjoy all those different festivities, all the activities we have planned for them. And I'm so proud of Tyler Paul for helping me put this together. And I'm so proud of Jan and Britt for inspiring me and for helping me along the way.
And if you guys want to contribute to this one, it's on GoFundMe.com/Big Day for Britt's Bunch, BRITTS. And that's on GoFundMe. Is it also up on bigmanbigheart.com yet? Is the link? Can we find the link there as well?
We're still working on that. Updating websites week in, week out is a very tough business, which I've kind of learned. A lot of it you can't do yourself. Right. I've tried to update it, but I've failed multiple times. And I even tried to code it using R, but it didn't work out very well. So that update should be here next week. But for now, it is on my Twitter, my Instagram. If you look up who Tyler Paul is, there's a bunch of stories on him already and the efforts that he's done in getting this campaign off the ground.
All right, let's move it to the NC State game. It wasn't the outcome that we had hoped for, but all things considered, I mean, it was a heck of a week. Let's be transparent here for a second. Last week, we didn't record, and we said it was because you were recording, you were studying for exam, but you were kind of sick last week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as was most of the team.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a sickness kind of rolling through the team, to say the least. We had a good amount of guys down throughout the week. I was one of those guys. I don't really get sick, if you know what I mean. Like last time I was sick, it was with COVID. And before that, I really can't remember being sick.
So did you think it was COVID when you were like, oh, crap, I'm sick?
I would say that the cold I had last week I had worse symptoms than I did when I had COVID-19.
Wow.
I was intensely sick. And my trainers did a great job in getting me back right, providing me everything I needed. They did the same for everyone else on my team.
Rewind it. What's it like when the flu bug? I mean, we've all dealt, or sports have dealt with COVID, but now the flu is running rampant, and it really is knocking guys out. Was it like a pocket of guys got sick first, and then it just ran through the team? Like, how did it all transpire?
Yeah, so I'd say guys started getting sick on the plane ride back from Clemson the week prior. It was very interesting. Again, like I said, I don't really get sick. I have a pretty good immune system, at least I thought. So I was fully confident I'd be able to weather through anything that possibly entered my system. But I was absolutely put on my butt and had the whole 9 yards. Fevers in and out for 24 hours. I was very, very sick. But yeah, we had a few guys that had it when we first got back to campus. And as you can imagine, it spread like wildfire. It was a big deal on our whole campus. If you look into other sports were canceled, games were canceled, practices were canceled.
My coworker, Zach Blostein, who's on Knowles 24/7, he's a student. He has a year and a half or a year left at FSU, and he got caught it. Chris Nee, who reports on the team, I mean, it was running through Tallahassee. Chris got it mildly last week. He had like 2 days where he was stuffed up and stuff, but I know you guys had it pretty bad. Was there anybody on the team like breaking out their old grandma's remedies, like anything crazy?
Nothing crazy for me. Like, I don't know. One thing my parents always taught me is whenever you get a fever, you're sweating and things like that. It's good to take as many showers as possible. So again, I was just fueling my immune system with everything I could possibly put into my body, eating a lot of food, drinking a lot, just trying not to lose weight, trying not to lose fluids. And again, taking showers helped me a lot. Just to feel better so I could get some work done and not just be sitting on my butt all day, but B, just to help me overall mental health, I guess. But it was intense. That's what I'll say. Because again, like I
it
said,
held you out of the game. I mean, I know for you've played through major pains of your body. And
I've physically, I played through things that were 10 times worse. But the toll it took on my body, it wasn't something that was, I don't know, they really didn't deem it safe for me to go out there and play at the highest level. I'm sure that if fans were watching and understood the depth on a few different positions, that they kind of saw the same thing. I can't really report on that kind of deal, but it was a whole ordeal. Luckily, we have a majority of our guys are healthy and all good this week, and everyone was really juiced up for the game. Let me tell you that.
That's great. What can you contribute in a game like that where you're not playing?
Yeah, so it's tough. I've been playing a lot of football lately, and most of what I contribute is just communication at the line of scrimmage, right? Mm-hmm. So when I did have to take a step back this week, I was all padded up. You saw me out there, but they wouldn't let me get in the game. I was on the sideline watching a few different players. The interior three, it's pretty easy to concentrate on those three guys at one time. So I was sitting back watching the Jumbotron, trying to see what exactly was going on the field, trying to provide my guys keys, tips, reminders, just basically anything that I could possibly do, just trying to be a secondary or assistant to Coach Atkins. And as we got through the game, there's always game time adjustments, as you can imagine, different plays that come up, things that we haven't seen in a few weeks, just educating those guys and trying to remind them in situations. So the biggest part and one of the best compliments you could possibly get as a football player is being situationally aware. So in a third down, it's a third down long, right? It's going to be a pass play. You got to get two back. You got to get some depth. You got to maintain your leverage and relative position to a quarterback. But that's one reminder you might forget. You might be like, oh, I'm going to firm set this guy. But again, they're probably bringing some type of stunt and you're going to get caught up. So just being able to yell on the sideline at my guys, giving them reminders. And then when they're off the field and the defense is out there, just being able to educate them in what they did wrong and what they can do better in.
So, and I know, hopefully this is like a 10-year away question that I'm about to ask you, but does like sitting out and being on the sidelines, does it ever want to get you into coaching?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I'm absolutely obsessed with the technique and fundamentals of my position. I'm obsessed with the game of football, and that's what I do basically 24/7 when I'm not doing these podcasts or working with Big Man, Big Heart. It's one of my biggest passions in life. So to have that taken away from me someday, I know I'm going to need that released some way, some shape, some form, whether that be coaching my kids someday. They'll probably be long snappers. Or to be in a position where they can get a scholarship, maybe make some money, and not necessarily put their body to the line all the time. Some type of specialist, I don't know. But for me, like again, I'm going to have that kind of release at some point, whether that be high school ball. I know one of my buddies, Griffin Allstott. You remember Griff, right?
Yeah, he played on.
Yeah, so Mike Allstott's his dad, and we've talked about him before in the podcast. But Griffin is, I'm very jealous. He's actually coaching right now at Northside Christian, and they're making a little run. If you haven't paid attention,
it's playoff time.
I'm very excited to see it. I'm really excited to see a team in Pinellas County bring home a championship. And I believe
it still hasn't happened.
Did you hear that Shorecrest is pretty close?
No, I did. I could never imagine Shorecrest being close to.
Yeah, I think they're playing 9-man too, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but my brother Riley Gibbons, my sweet brother. He actually gave me an update the other day. One of the guys in his office at Trentham was bragging about different teams going on in Pinellas County. But Northside Christian should definitely be a contender this year.
We need one from Pinellas County. I mean, how many great players have come out of Lakewood High School? We haven't gotten a champion. All right, I'm going to stop there.
I think that's absolutely crazy. That's a weird side note, but it is absolutely crazy. the amount of absolutely insane players that will be playing football for 15 to 25 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's no state championships in Pinellas County.
Doesn't make any sense.
Hard to wrap your head around. What's been the response from the coaching staff? Because you guys, you lost a really tough game against Clemson, and then you battle against NC State, but you lose by 2 scores. How's the coaches' response been in these games?
Yeah. So this is just from my perspective. Again, we're entering crunch time right now. As you can imagine, we kind of talked about it. It's a 3-game season at this point.
Yeah.
We're very excited for the opportunity. You see, as a team and as players, we've gone through a lot of different situations, right? We've had every situation in the book when it comes to a 2-minute offensive drive that there ever could be. We've been in a lot of different scenarios over just this season by itself. And the coaches have prepared us for those situations. And some of the time we executed, some of the time we all did our job. We got the win that we wanted. But as it turned out, most of the time that hasn't happened this season. There's been little things that have popped up, whether it's a one drive or a whole game of small mistakes that just added up in the wrong direction. But what I'm trying to get to is that we've learned a lot about ourselves and about our team and what we're capable of and what we can do positively and negatively. And for us right now, our coaches are approaching it the same exact way we approached the first game against Notre Dame. A very consistent approach, whether that be the length of our practices or what we do in an actual practice. It's all the same. And they've done an excellent job just preparing us mentally and physically throughout the week to get out there and have a great opportunity of absolutely beating the dog snot out of Miami.
Speaking of Miami, that's this week. How's practice been this week? How's the intensity for a rivalry game?
Yeah, so I haven't been part of a game like this. At Notre Dame, we had some very historic games, games that have been played for for many years that had traveling trophies and things of that nature, sold out games 2 years in advance. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But to have a Florida on Florida school game is pretty interesting. A lot of hype around the game. It's
what you came here for. Let's be honest.
It's what I came here for. We're going to have
these last 3 games is what you signed up for.
We're going to have 2 of them, and again, I'm very excited for this opportunity. It is a good. Miami's a great school. My brother was actually committed there back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it'll definitely be interesting because last time I saw Miami was with Notre Dame in 2017. One of the loudest games of my life there in Hard Rock Stadium. So
I really thought Miami was going to be back after that one. They looked like they were onto something, but
you thought
not quite.
You would have thought. But at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity. All my guys are very excited to get after it. For us, like if you look at our team, and I know a lot of people have commented on this, we have a lot of transfers and a lot of key positions, right? Those are guys that haven't experienced a game of this caliber before. At least guys that are from Florida or have some type of association with the school. Like it's an awesome opportunity. It's definitely a way to leave your legacy and leave your mark on the school. And to have that stage in front of that many people with a game that has so much history surrounding it is definitely going to be fun. And
guys on your team have ties, not only to the area, but to players on the Miami team. I mean, heck, your quarterback, Jordan Travis, is from the 561. Keir Thomas is from down there. I mean, you guys got a bunch of players, Akeem Dent, the list goes on.
Yeah. If our boys from back home aren't watching this game, then they don't care. They don't watch football.
Right.
I mean, like this is one of those games where I remember when I was a little kid, I'd be watching on TV or even in person at one point when I was hanging out with Ryan Green and my whole family back in the day.
I remember watching them even before I understood what was really going on the field. We used to go to our uncle and aunt's house and it was a big week. And I just remember, oh yeah, football's on. But I didn't really even. But it was always a tradition as somebody that grew up in Florida of going to watch these games.
Again, this game means a lot, right? And we're just trying not to get distracted by those outside factors and play our best football, the most effort we can possibly put into it, and go out there and execute.
Yeah. How you feeling? You gonna be able to play this week?
I'm feeling wonderful. I'm juiced up. I'm ready to go. I had a great week of practice. Again, my training staff's done a great job. And our coach has done a great job in preparing us over this week. We're ready to eat after as an offensive line. Just being 5 guys, seeing it through one set of eyes, staying consistent and even keeled the whole game, and just trying to wear them down.
Beautiful. Do you have any like outside distract? Do you have friends coming up for the game? Do you have extra family coming in town? Like, is this a bigger weekend?
Yeah, so Timothy and his whole family will be up here. Um,
Sweet.
my lovely fiance will be here with her mom and dad, and then my whole family will be up here.
Okay.
So it's going to be a lot of people, a lot of coordination, but luckily I don't have to worry about much of that. See, I have an awesome support group behind me, and that's my own family. My mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters. They really help me out and organize all this. So all I really have to think about this weekend is playing some football.
All right. Well, hopefully next week we get to talk about this win. Good luck this weekend. The game's at 3:30 inside
Yep.
Doak Campbell Stadium. I'm sure it'll be rocking. And like I said, hopefully we get to talk about the win.
I hope so too.
Dylan, what do you think the hardest part of Alex Atkins' job is of coaching the offensive line, just from your perspective? Like what's the hardest part of his job?
Yeah, so I'd probably say dealing with parents. For me, the job of coaching is very attractive. To be there as a role model for a young man is an awesome privilege, but that's not what coaches sign up for. They sign up for the moments like we're going to have here in a couple nights. Out there on that field, coaching some guys, calling plays. They're not there to be father figures. So I think that probably the toughest part is again just trying to treat a player the way that their parents think they should be treated, but also staying true to yourself. See, Coach Atkins does a great job with that. He does talk to parents. He talks to my dad. My dad doesn't really care. He's put me on that football field and let me shine kind of deal. But some people definitely reach out to him more than others. And as you can imagine, as a football coach, it'd be hard. It'd be very, very difficult to deal with having parents and people contacting you and pulling you each and every direction, just to try to get something from you. But yeah,
and guess what?
I'd say dealing with parents post recruiting.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, guess what? He's also dealing with parents at the same time in recruiting. Florida State has 5 offensive line commitments, so he's dealing with 5 parents there. Then they're trying to add more. So he's probably recruiting some parents as well. I mean,
yeah, I think that's probably his favorite part about the job, though, because he does it differently than anyone I've ever met. It's brute honesty, right? This is what's going to happen. This is what you should expect. It's not this is what could happen. This is what you could expect. These are the wonderful things, the benefits of coming here, and all bro and all these offensive linemen have been through here that have had great success. He gets to start from scratch. And that's one of the toughest things about his job right now is that, of course, he did adopt some players when he kind of showed up here to campus. And he got to pick and choose a few different guys to pull from different schools, fifth-year transfers like me, Devontae Love-Taylor, and a few guys like that, bringing in the SDs and Rod, just a couple of guys he could bring in last year. There's 2 scholarship offensive linemen. But now he gets a chance to kind of take a step back and start actually picking up players. And recruiting's tough, and I know it's getting tougher, a lot more different than what I experienced back in the day, and even what my brother experienced. A lot of players expect to come into a team like ours and start right away. So again, I think that is a tough part of the job, especially just trying to let people know what college football actually is like, and how difficult and how extremely hard it is for a freshman to walk in and play offensive line. It really does take a developmental year, a year of scout team, but that's not necessarily what people want to hear. So for me, again, I have so much respect for Coach Atkins. He works extremely hard. Our GA, Cooper, he does a great job too, just keeping in touch with us on a daily basis. But yeah, they definitely have a couple of good heads on their shoulders, and just try to stay even keeled at all times.
All right. I want to take some questions. I opened it up to Twitter. Sometimes this is a good idea. Sometimes this is a bad idea.
Okay.
But they have some questions for you.
No.
One, somebody wanted to know if you're playing this weekend. I think we covered that.
Yes.
Guthrie's or Zaxby's?
Big Guthrie's guy.
Big Guthrie's guy.
Big Guthrie. Maybe the biggest here in Tallahassee.
And you might even have some cards to give away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm working with Guthrie's right now. I'm not going to share too much news about it, but I do have a whole Christmas type initiative planned out, and I'm relying on some of my sponsors here in Tallahassee to help make that happen. And I've had some unbelievable conversations with the guys over at Guthrie's, and again, they do a great job in supporting us, the offensive line, and some other guys on the team, providing us meals. But I look forward to that partnership and what we have planned here in the future.
Good to hear. Here's a question. Do you have any interactions with recruits on weekends like this? Because it's a big recruiting week, and I think Florida State's going to host at least 6 official visitors plus probably like 30 unofficials. So are you ever cognizant of that even happening, or, what are you involved?
Yeah. So for our coaches, there's a lot more meetings during the week for games like this, full recruiting meetings that of course I'm aware of. And we do talk about certain guys, and someone has a question, or someone's from my hometown, or someone's in a similar situation than I was at this time last year. I would definitely at least have some type of contact with them this weekend.
So you want a little background information. Like, you don't need to know about it. And then if you find like you can relate to a recruit, you'll jump in.
Yeah. For me, like I'm a lot like Coach Atkins. I'm going to shoot people straight. I'm going to let them know what my experience has been. And again, my experience here has been absolutely stellar. The coaches didn't promise me anything when I decided to kind of flip that switch and leave Notre Dame and come down here. But again, I've had a great experience, and I'm very open to share that with others, and especially families and moms and dads. It's the kind of stuff that you want to hear, and it's the kind of stuff that's actually real and true.
Yeah. And I think with the players, sometimes it can just be a conversation that you have with a parent, just one single 2-minute conversation that could be very impactful because it's somebody that they can relate to because you had just been through the process not too long ago.
Yeah. Mike Norvell does a great job, and not like, I don't know how to put this in a better way. Some coaches, and some of my experience, a lot of it isn't organic type meetings. It's like, hey, we're having these 4 players on a discussion panel. They are going to tell you everything. You know what I mean? Like that's how it usually is. But all the interactions I've had with different recruits and families, they've just been walking through the facility over the past year or a couple months since I've been here. And again, I think those are the most impactful conversations. Like, hey, like that guy that has a big old beard, he shook my hand, looked me in the eye, and told me straight. Right. So again, I think that's probably the best way to approach it. And they do a great job in kind of forming those organic relationships.
All right, next question. Transfer portal process. What happens? Somebody wants to know what happens. Like, you put your name in the portal, what happens?
Yeah. So for me, I woke up the day after the spring game and wondered why I was still in South Bend, Indiana. And from that moment, I started thinking, did my own research on what that process looks like. You walk into your compliance office, basically tell them you're leaving, you're transferring. It takes about 24 hours to 48 hours for your name to actually be entered into the portal. And it is at the discretion of the university. So you have to turn in all your old stuff, whether that be your lifting loop, your shoes, your iPad, basically anything that they deem that is theirs. And then you go ahead and have your meetings with your coaches. So pending on that, in that 48-hour window, your name gets entered in the transfer portal. And that alerts every single college coach in the country, basically, that you're
leaving. It's on.
Yep. And
like, did you get 30 phone calls in the first hour that you were in the portal?
Yeah. So for me, like, I didn't understand how much recruiting happened over Twitter. Of course, I had a Twitter in the recruiting process back in 2017, 2016, 2015. Mm-hmm. But I did not understand how much college coaches just reached out, and that was their main form of communication. I guess it's tough to get someone's number nowadays, but I probably had a couple hundred DMs from different college coaches from every single place that you could possibly imagine, every single school, all levels, just trying to see if I was interested and give me an opportunity. So it was pretty cool to see that, especially when you're walking away from a school and you didn't really feel that wanted, to have that outpour of support and all these coaches reaching out, giving you some type of offer. Any school that's reaching out to you is probably
lets you know you still got it.
But for me, like I spent 3 days before I even put my name into the portal, just thinking about where I'd go. And the one big key piece of advice I give anyone, especially anyone I talk to that's consider getting into the portal, is make that decision early and make it a very strong decision, because you're going to have every college coach promising you everything in the world. And it was just like recruiting, right? But shortened into basically a week. So for me, I only really picked up the phone and talked to 2 different coaches. And the only school I really wanted to come to was back here home at FSU.
Who was the other school you talked to?
The other school was just based off of common courtesy from one of my past coaches. It was a old GA of mine. So it was a quick conversation. But again, I was trying to seek advice. But yeah, only took 2 phone calls, and again, it was just a GA, just a normal conversation to have, just advice and what was going on and what the school I was actually interested in, what was going to be happening there. That was a very interesting story, though. Let me tell you that. But for me, like I knew I wanted to come to FSU. I told Mike Norvell the second I got on the phone with him what my intentions were of coming here and helping him change the culture of the offensive line room. And from there, I had a conversation with Coach Atkins, a few different people in compliance here at FSU, and I was basically signed up. All I had to do was step foot on campus and take a summer class, and everything would be official.
You make it sound a lot easier than I think it is for a lot of process.
Yeah, other than uprooting my whole life and moving out of a whole house in South Indiana, selling the house and driving a 40-foot moving truck, a Penske truck down here. Yeah, pretty smooth. Part of the process. Not the most comfortable thing in the world, but it was very worth it. And I haven't looked back from that decision. And it's one of the greatest decisions I've made in my life so far.
All right. Last question from Twitter. This comes in. Dylan, who is your favorite sibling?
That's tough. That's a tough one.
I mean, you got to have a favorite, though. You got to pick one.
You can't. You can't, though.
Rules are the rules.
You can't. I can't go for that one.
You have what?
That's a trap.
You have 3 different siblings?
Yep. Oldest brother, older brother Riley, oldest sister Katie, and then twin sister Delaney. I would have to say Delaney because she's my twin.
I was gonna say,
I think I'd probably get in trouble if not. But I love my siblings a lot. Our families, I know you know this, but we're extremely tight. Talk every day. Our family group chat just going and going. They call me all the time. But again, I'm very close with all my siblings. My brother Riley, of course, because he's my only brother. We're also very close and gotten closer over the years. We actually lived together up there in South Bend. He went to Notre Dame Law School while I was up there for 3 years. So yeah, it's absolutely awesome being a part of such a close and tight knit family. And my parents really did a great job raising all of us. All my siblings are either attorneys or going to be attorneys.
Except for you.
Yep, and I'm doing okay, I guess. But I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm not going to be an attorney. I just listened to my brother on a mediation for 5 hours, so I'm okay with not doing that. But again, it's awesome being part of such a close-knit family, and I'd have to say Delaney.
There you go. I think that's the right answer. It's always your
stuff. I know they're going to watch this too. I hope I gave them good enough justification.
All right. That's about it for this week. Any quick shout outs? If you want to follow us on Twitter, I am at Josh Newberg 247 and Dylan is at Gibbons Dylan on Twitter. Anything else you got today?
Yeah, just please reach out to me if you guys have any comments, suggestions, things you'd like to see. I have some very exciting opportunities going on here pretty soon for the people that follow this podcast and for the people that follow me on Twitter and Instagram. So again, just reach out to me. We have some very exciting deals going on with some major corporations. I know we've talked about it before, but Camping World, Good Sam, they've been an awesome sponsor so far. And I'm very excited to share the details of that sponsorship. And again, Marcus Lamonis and the whole crew over there reached out to me, and you're going to provide some awesome opportunities for the people listening to this podcast and the people that follow me on Instagram and Twitter.
Very good. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to Big Man, Big Heart. We will be back next week.
Yep. I look forward to it. I'll see you guys.